Hi guys! In this video, we will explore the basics of cells, which are fundamental to both medicine and biology. It's an essential starting point for learning. As you might already know, all living things, including plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria, are composed of cells. This is now common knowledge, but it wasn't properly understood until the mid-1800s. In fact, the discovery and naming of the cell by Robert Hooke dates back to the 17th century. However, it was later officially recognized by Theodor Schwann as the cell theory. There are two types of cells, plant cells and animal cells, which have slightly different structures. Today, let's focus on animal cells, which are the cell type we humans have. Cells can also be classified as either prokaryotic or eukaryotic, but that's a bit more complex. Let's revisit that in another video. It is said that humans are made up of 37 trillion cells, which is an extraordinary number. Initially, we start from just one fertilized egg cell. We are ultimately formed through the countless divisions of this fertilized egg. However, these divisions are not random. The cells differentiate, taking on various properties, shapes, sizes, and functions as they multiply. For example, some become epithelial cells, while others develop into neurons. A tissue is a group of cells that share the same characteristics. For example, epithelial cells come together to form epithelial tissue, while neurons come together to form nervous tissue. Incidentally, there are other types of tissue as well, such as muscle tissue and connective tissue. When these tissues come together, they form organs, which are parts of the body with specific functions, like the skin, muscles, liver, and brain. And it's these organs, working together, that make up you. As I explained earlier, a fertilized egg develops into various types of cells as it multiplies. This process, where a cell transforms to assume a specific function, is called differentiation. Cells that have the capability to differentiate are known as stem cells. The cells present right after fertilization are the most potent stem cells, capable of differentiating into all types of cells. While there are many kinds of stem cells that can only differentiate into a limited range of cell types, like blood cells, epidermal cells, or nervous system cells, none are as versatile as the cells from a fertilized egg. Differentiation is a one-way process. Once cells have differentiated, they acquire specific properties and cannot transform into other types of cells. However, quite recently, scientists have succeeded in reverting differentiated cells back into stem cells using a specialized technology. These reprogrammed cells are known as iPS cells. Now, these cells are too small to be seen with the naked eye. But how big are they really? Typically, cell is about 10 to 30 micrometers in size. To put that into perspective, 1 micrometer is 1,000th of a millimeter, which equates to 0.01 to 0.03 millimeters. This is roughly 1/4 the thickness of a human hair. However, as I mentioned earlier, there are many different types of cells, and some are quite large. Take the egg cell, for example, which is the source of all cells. An egg cell is about 200 micrometers in diameter, making it significantly larger than most other cells. It's just large enough to be visible to the naked eye. There are also unique cells like those in the sciatic nerve, which are elongated and can extend over a meter in length. The surface of a cell is covered by a special membrane called the plasma membrane. The cell membrane is made up of two layers of molecules called phospholipids, and is therefore called a phospholipid bilayer. The cell membrane is a complex structure, embedded with various channels, proteins, and hormone receptors. These channels, often referred to as pores, allow specific molecules to enter or exit the cell. The cell membrane functions as a barrier, separating the cell's interior from its exterior environment. For instance, while water can pass through relatively freely, substances like sodium and proteins cannot. Do you recall our lesson on osmosis? A membrane that permits the passage of water, but not solutes like salt or sugar, is known as a semi-permeable membrane. The cell membrane is naturally semi-permeable, characterized by its selective permeability. It allows certain substances to pass through while blocking others. Consequently, osmotic pressure can develop across the cell membrane. This is a crucial concept in anatomy and physiology, so this is the take-home message from today. Now, let's take a moment to review what we've learned so far. All living things are made up of cells. Cells of the same type gather to form tissues such as epithelial, neural, muscle, and connective tissues. These tissues come together to form organs, and the collection of organs makes up the human body. The process in which a cell changes to take on a specific function is known as differentiation. Cells that can differentiate are called stem cells. The surface of a cell is covered by a cell membrane. The cell membrane is made up of two layers of phospholipids, and it is also called the phospholipid bilayer. The cell membrane functions as a natural semi-permeable membrane. Therefore, osmotic pressure can develop across the cell membrane. That's all for the summary. By the way, if we take a closer look at the contents of the cell we've been studying, they look something like this. There are so many different components inside. In our next video, let's learn about what these components do. If you're enjoying our videos, please subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for more. See you soon!